Welcome to Battle of the Ports, Faceball 2000. Faceball 2000 started life on the Atari ST and was developed by Zenith Software FX and distributed by Hybrid Arts. But this isn't actually called Faceball 2000. The game started life as MIDI Maze. Why MIDI Maze, you may ask? Well, the name comes from the fact that this game uses the Atari ST MIDI port to link up to 16 machines networked in a MIDI ring. It is also often credited for being the first deathmatch game. The game arena occupies only roughly a quarter of the screen and consists of a first-person view of a flat shaded maze with a crosshair in the middle. All players are shown as a Pac-Man-like smiley avatar in various colours. Bullets are represented as small spheres. The game is started by a designated master machine, which sets the rules, divides players into teams and selects a maze. A number of mazes come with the game, and additional mazes can be constructed using a text editor. MIDI Maze was reasonably successful, but not many knew about it outside of the ST user base. The game only really became known once the next port appeared. And the next port was for the Game Boy and was apparently developed by the original developers Zenith Software FX. Now 3D gaming on the Game Boy isn't that common due to the hardware specs, so it is nice to see when a developer tries something like this. Yes, the frame rate is really bad, but hey, this came out in 1991 on an 8-bit monochrome handheld. The Game Boy port comes with two main game modes. One is kinda dull. It has you taking on tasks round by round, with increasing complexity by adding a new task each round. So for example, in the first round you just open a door, that's it. The second round has you open a door and navigate a bit of maze. The third round introduces shooting walls and so on. The main meat and fun comes in the arena mode. This mode is what you would expect. Choose an arena, then take out all the smileys before they take you out. It's very simple, but also a lot of fun. This version also allows 2-player battles if you have a game link cable, or up to 4 players with a 4-player adapter. It's often rumoured that the Game Boy version would allow up to 16 players by daisy chaining 4-player adapters, which is not the case. According to the programmer, Robert Champagne, this game does contain a 16-player mode. However, it requires a special connector that would be bundled with the game to create a chain of game link cables. As Nintendo did not allow them to do this, the connector was never released, so the 16-player mode cannot be enabled. In 1993, Zenith Software FX ported Faceball 2000 to the Game Gear. Sadly, despite coming out 2 years after the Game Boy release, this is a pure colorized port of the Game Boy version. It is the exact same game. Well, at least it runs faster, but only contains a 2-player option when it comes to multiplayer modes. Now this may be a port not many people know about. The Wikipedia page sure doesn't. This is the Atari 8-bit port of the ST original. As you can see, it runs fairly well, as long as you don't overcrowd the maze with drones. Here we can see it running with 7 drones, and just look at it chug along. Best to keep the count down to 4 or so. Just like the ST original, this can be linked, or you can play solo. Quite an impressive port. The SNES version is next, also by Zenith Software FX, and it is crap. The game suffers badly from slowdown, and because of this, every time you shoot, the ball fills the screen for too long, making it very difficult to see anything when on a shooting frenzy. The game is also a basic port of the Game Boy version. Same menu, same options, and same play modes. The only plus point is the split screen mode, but even that isn't any good because of the awful speed that the game runs at. Oh, and the music is shit.
Have a nice day. Have a nice day.
PC Engine CD version, like the Game Gear version, remained a Japanese exclusive. This port comes from Riverhill Soft and dumps all over the SNES version. What we have here is a much more comical, light-hearted version of an already light-hearted FPS. The PC Engine port contains 2 modes, Battle and Race. In Battle mode you can play split screen against 1 to 3 other opponents, which can either be CPU controlled or players. This is great fun, but can get a little slow in 4-player mode. I also love how you can now select different designs, and each design has its own unique death animation. The typical smiley ball, for example, cracks open like an egg. In most modes you battle against an opponent to collect as many ghosts, maybe, before the time limit runs out. The person with the most wins. This is a very simple game, but with a few friends it can be fun. Nico-chan Battle was also developed for the Virtual Boy, but like most games in development for that machine, it was cancelled. This is a ROM-hacked version by modder Another World. This hack basically adds the Faceball name back into the game. The original name of Nico-chan Battle basically translates as Smiley Battle. This is an early prototype of the game, so it is far from complete. There are 4 stages that we can select, with each having a unique play mechanic. The game moves at a reasonable pace and controls well enough. It would have been interesting to see how this would have turned out had it been completed. And let's take a look at all those versions of Faceball running side by side.